Hello friends, welcome back. In this tutorial we will study about transport layer. So what happens, this transport layer, it is the fourth layer of the OSI model. This layer is below the session layer and it is above the network layer. So what happens in this transport layer? This transport layer is responsible for process to process delivery of the entire message. This transport layer ensures that the whole message arrives intact and in order, overseeing both error control and flow control at the source to destination level. Right? So what happens, this transport layer, it is responsible for process to process delivery of the entire message. So actually what happens, on a computer it may be possible there are several processes, right? It may be possible that several programs may be running at the computer at the same time, right? So this transport layer, it ensures that message is delivered from a specific process on one computer to a specific process on another computer, right? Now let us see the responsibilities of transport layer. So first is flow control. So what happens, this transport layer, it is responsible for end-to-end flow control. Second is error control, right? This transport layer is responsible for process to process error control, right? The sending transport layer ensures that the entire message arrives at the receiving transport layer without error, right?
Another responsibility of transport layer is segmentation and reassembly. So in this case, what happens, a message is divided into transmittable segments and each segment contains a sequence number. So when a message arrives at the destination, these sequence numbers are used by the transport layer to reassemble the message correctly and to identify and replace packets that were lost in transmission, right? So another responsibility of transport layer is segmentation and reassembly. Another responsibility of a transport layer is connection control, right? So what happens, that the transport layer can be connectionless or connection oriented, right? So a connection oriented transport layer first makes a connection with the transport layer at the destination, then delivers the packet, and after all the data are transmitted, the connection is terminated, right? Now the another responsibility of the transport layer is service point addressing, right? This is service point address, it is also called port address. So what happens, as I told you earlier, that transport layer ensures process to process delivery of the entire message, right? So it may be possible that several programs may be running at the computer at the same time, right? So the transport layer, it ensures the delivery of entire message from a specific process on one computer to a specific process on another computer, right? And it may be possible that there are several processes on a computer, right? So the entire message must be delivered to a particular process, right? It must be delivered to a particular intended process on the computer, right? So what happens, in previous tutorial we studied about network layer. The network layer gets each packet to the correct computer, right? And this transport layer, it gets the entire message to the correct process on that computer, right? So what happens in this case, so because the transport layer has to ensure the delivery of entire message from a specific process on one computer to a specific process on another computer. So for that purpose, transport layer header includes a type of address which is called service point address or port address, right? So that the message can be delivered to the correct process. About the transport layer, how this connection control, segmentation and reassembly, error control, flow controls, these things are done, that we will study in separate tutorials, right? That we will study later. This tutorial only just for the introduction of transport layer.